Yo, what's going on guys, and welcome to my second update video about my 0 to 100 exalts challenge. And we are basically after the day 2, and let me show you my played. So far I basically played 20 hours, so first session was 20 hours and now second session was also around 20 hours. And in case you don't know what this challenge is, maybe you didn't watch the first video, let me quickly remind you of a set of rules I set for myself. So basically this is the challenge where I'm starting fresh on a new account. As you can see, I don't have any tabs, and I'm going to try to get 100 exalts as fast as possible. And I physically have to have the 100 exalts, so I can't just say, oh, I have 100x because I have 100x in stuff. I also have to trade everything for the exalts. And in terms of trading, I'm actually allowing myself to use my second account where I have actually premium stash tabs to be able to actually sell stuff, because here obviously I can't use normal tabs to sell. In terms of other rules, viewers chose a build for me to play, which is the Spark, so I have to play the Spark. On top of that, I can't use any crafting for profit, any flipping, and I have to do strategies in maps, so in Atlas. I can't do any blighted maps, high, simulacrum, and so on. So yeah, everything has to be around maps. So again, we are after the day 2, and I didn't really upgrade my build that much, to be honest. The only things that I did upgrade, basically everything you can see here is around 2C, but the main things I did upgrade is my helmet, which now has a 3 additional projectiles spark enchant. On top of that, I did get the craft on my chest, which is 10% life as maximum energy shield. And this is an interesting tip, because this is a Gravicious craft, and a lot of people don't know that if you need a specific syndicate member craft, what you can do is you can simply just go to a trade and type the name of that master. So for this it's Gravicious, and here you can see Gravicious Veiled, and you just press enter and you can see all of the chests with Gravicious mod, and this is almost guaranteed to give you the Gravicious Veiled mod. Sometimes it's not gonna give you, but yeah, most of the time it's gonna give you the mod you want. So I actually bought the chest for 10C, and it gave me this craft, which also costed 4C to craft, so this I paid 14C. I'm still using Algor Mortis, rings with just resist and life, amulet with +1. Now I crafted the chaos resists, still the same boots and the same belt, still the same shield with +1 and scepter. The next things that changed are actually the gems. So now I am using Wrath with Divine Blessing. I'm gonna talk about that a bit more in a second. Here is still the same, Tornado, Determination, Frost Shield. Custom Dev Portal is a new addition because, well, it is softcore, so 6 portals for the win. Zealotry, Mark on hit with Sniper Mark now, so whenever I am using my shield charge I am applying Sniper Mark, which is not really needed, but it's a nice addition. So, Divine Blessing and Wrath, the reason why I can use it, in case you don't know how Divine Blessing works, basically it's gonna transform this aura into castable aura, and it's gonna last 10 seconds when you use it. So you need to have enough mana to be able to cast it. So right now I actually can't cast it, as you can see here, because I don't have enough mana. So what I did is I did buy these 2 jewels, Forbidden Flesh and Flame, which did cost me 1 exalt each, and it gives me Instruments of Zeal. So every time I'm using Shield Charge, it's gonna give me Fanatic Charge, which is gonna reduce my mana cost by 75%, and it's also gonna give me 75% cast speed. So whenever I am using a Shield Charge, as you can see, I'm getting 1 charge, then I'm getting second one, and then third one, and fourth one, and now I actually can use my Wrath. And now it's gonna last 10 seconds. So before the 10 seconds pass, I'm gonna just continue mapping, and I'm gonna get it again, and now, as you can see, I can cast it again before it's even done. So yeah, that's a nice addition, some nice damage, but to be honest, I don't think it's even that great. I actually don't think I would recommend using it. 4 seconds, 75% more cast speed, it is pretty nice, but you're not gonna have that great of an uptime on this. And to be able to use Wrath with Divine Blessing, you can, to be honest, just support it with Life Tap, This is gonna basically cost you your life instead of your mana, which is a bit more dangerous, but it is a nice way around it. So yeah, you definitely don't need to buy these jewels, which did cost me 1 exalt each, and you need Forbidden Flesh and Flame for it to work. So yeah, it did cost me 2 exalts. On top of that, I got Glorious Vanity, which I paid 4 TC for, and I got Corrupted Soul. This is how I have so much energy shield. So that's basically it in terms of gear. Actually, yeah, again, I didn't really upgrade that much stuff. Probably before tomorrow session, where I'm gonna play more, then I'm probably gonna upgrade some more stuff. But yeah, that's basically it. Now let me talk about what I actually did during the day. So basically I did focus on just progressing my Atlas, so just getting as many yellow and white maps as possible, while at the same time I tried to make as much currency as possible. This is an important thing, because you have to remember that when you're gonna reach like red maps, most of the builds are gonna start to struggle, so you need to also make some money at least when you're doing white and yellow maps. And also to help with progression, you also have to remember that Kirak is gonna be your best friend. Whenever you are not gonna have any maps to complete, you can always just check the Kirak. As you can see here, all of them I did complete, but if there would be any that I didn't complete, I would just buy it. And then after you are done with the maps, you run out of them, then you can go to Atlas mission, and if you have one of them, you can just run one map and the shop is gonna reset. So and then you're gonna be able to buy more maps, and then you continue to do that. So yeah, this is how I was able to progress my maps pretty smoothly. And the strategies I went for to make currency while I was doing this was basically 3 things. First thing is essences, second is Sentinel, and third one is Chaos Recipe. So here are some remaining stuff from the Chaos Recipe. I basically stopped doing it around, I would say, when I reached tier 8, or maybe tier 9 maps. And the main reason I kind of wanted to stop it as soon as possible is because I don't have any premium stash tabs, which means I can't use Chaos Recipe Enhancer tool, which is a very nice tool for Chaos Recipe, but you need to have one premium tab because you have to set it on public, I believe so, for it to work. So yeah, I stopped doing Chaos Recipe around tier 8, and I was, in terms of Atlas tree, I was just going for essences as fast as possible. So I started here, went for these essences, took Alva on my way, then went here, took these essences, took these map drop points, and then went to the top, took these ones, and then to the right here, and took these ones. And then as soon as I got Amplified Energies, which is the most important one, it's going to give you 1 tier higher for your essences, I started using the +3 essences in every map. I was using it on every single map, and it costs you 3C. Here it is free because I have 1 free craft remaining, but normally you have to pay 3C, which is basically 1C per essence. And even though essences are not like crazy expensive right now, it is a very good way to make money. Actually, I believe I made around, within these 10 hours, I made probably around 2 exalts from it, maybe a bit more. And I still haven't sold all of my essences, and as you can see here, still have like Essence of Hysteria, Delirium, Horror, and actually this is not even all of my stuff because I do have quite a lot of essences on my other account where I'm trading. Maybe I will show it to you later in the video. But yeah, basically I went for the essences, and after I was done with essences, then I went for the Alva, because I was as well as accumulating decent amount of Alva missions because of this. I believe I had like 10. Like 1 white and yellow ones. So I went for the points that give guaranteed additional tier, I guess, for the room when you kill the architect to the left of the incursion, or I guess to the bottom. And here you have a 50% chance for additional tier when you're killing the one to the right. This is not really +1, but most of the time it's just gonna be +1. It's basically gonna replace the tiers that the room had, and it's gonna add +1. And the reason why I went for it is because Alva is actually a pretty good way to make money later on in the league, because corruption rooms cost at least 1 exalt, and gem rooms are also pretty expensive. Right now they cost 100C, and corruption costs 1 exalt. So because I just had a lot of missions and Alva doesn't care about tier of maps, you can literally do it in white maps, I just decided to go for it also. So yeah, I was doing Chaos Recipe, Essences, Alva and the Sentinel, but yeah, I stopped doing Chaos Recipe pretty fast. And I actually, when I was doing this, I got 2 double corruption rooms and 1 gem corruption room. So I was able to sell the double corruption rooms for 2 exalts in total and 100C for the gem room. So yeah, basically a little bit more than 2.5 exalts. After I took these points, I went for the additional map drops here, and then basically I stopped really caring about the Atlas because these were basically my main ways of making money. So I just went to the left and started taking the red influence because I knew eventually I'm gonna start doing some influence stuff, so I took these. And then I just kinda blocked these things and started taking the exile nodes. And also I took Stream of Consciousness because I'm not using any Scarabs anyway. And I took these exile points. So yeah, but this doesn't really matter. I only have 67 points anyway, so I can't really go for like any crazy strategy yet. Like I couldn't, for example, take a lot of expedition or a lot of blight stuff and so on. So yeah, I just decided to go for something simple like exiles. So yeah, that was basically how I was making my money when I was around yellow maps. Just Alva, Essences and Sentinel. Sentinel wasn't like super crazy. I probably made maybe like 1x from Sentinel stuff. And Sentinel would also, if I used it incorrectly, I would also improve the difficulty of Essences, so I would die to them a lot. So yeah, Sentinel kind of annoying, but still decently profitable. And my next basically goal, when I reach around tier 10 yellow maps, I basically had to make a decision. I either progress for red maps, and I started having issues when I started doing like tier 11, tier 12. It was no longer like so easy. I would either just continue progressing through the red maps, or I would kind of just stay at the yellow-white maps, and I would just grind Essences, Alva and Sentinel until I have enough money to buy gear, and then progress red maps. And I actually went for the first option because in case you watched, in case you haven't watched my not my last video, but video before that, when I was talking about the strategy where you can make a lot of money, and I called it just by farming nothing, but now I know that the name of the strategy is basically the invitation rushing. So the way the strategy works is you need to have unlocked this circle, which is Searing Exarch circle, and you're just gonna progress your invitation so that when you reach 28 maps, you're gonna sell the invitation. So to be able to do that, I basically decided to just rush for the red maps. So I did like tier 11s, 12s, so I can progress the Searing Exarch quest. And as you can see, I still haven't finished the Eater of Words. For example, for this quest, I have to do at least tier 12 map. So that was the quest for the Searing Exarch. I had to do at least tier 12 maps, then eventually I had to do tier 14, and I had to do few of them, which was a decent struggle, which is actually why I bought Cassandra Portal. I was dying quite a lot, but then I was able to complete few of them, and I progressed the quest, and I got the invitation for the Searing Exarch, the quest one, and I had to kill it. And basically the goal was to either kill it myself or just buy the service on TFT for like, I believe it goes for between 20 and 50C. But I actually was able to kill him. It wasn't like super easy, I died like few times, but yeah, I was able to kill the Searing Exarch, and I unlocked my first Void Stone and the circle. So at that point, I was able to just farm the invitations. So in case you don't know, for this strategy, you literally just need Baptized by Fire, which is gonna be 10% double progress, or you can go for this one and you also get 10%. But I went for the left one because it's just closer to the things that I had in here. But to be honest, it doesn't really matter that much. I believe actually these ones are actually maybe selling a bit better on TFT. And you can sell these invitations for 1.2 exalts. But yeah, when I was trying to sell them, it took me quite a while to sell them, and I was constantly seeing the other ones being sold. So maybe this one is a bit easier to sell. Okay, so now let me actually show you how this strategy works. So basically you just open a map and you don't care if it's white, corrupted, rare or whatever, it needs to be at least tier 14, and you just go inside the map with one of the invitations, influences. You just run to the first pack of monsters, and as you can see, I'm still struggling in the red maps, which is why this strategy is actually perfect, because you don't need to kill that many monsters. Oh, and I died because of the mods on the map, because it is a corrupted rare map, so that one is pretty hard. And you just kill a few packs, and now you saw the like a red blink, and now I see the red monster spawning, which means I basically now got the influence proc, and now you can see here there's 1 out of 28. And then you basically continue doing this. Let me show you another one. So kill a few monsters here. Obviously you can pick up some loot, and there was the proc. You can also click on the altars, but it doesn't really matter. And I got 2. And you just continue doing that 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. And when you reach 13, it's gonna say 13 out of 28, you're gonna do 14th map, and 14th is gonna drop the Polaric invitation, which you don't have to go for, but I actually went for it, and you can sell them for 12C each. And then you're gonna continue until you reach 28, and then you're gonna get the Incandescent invitation, which you can sell on TNFT for 1.2, maybe 1.3 exalts, but I was selling them for 1.2. And this is actually where all of this money came from. I do have 12 exalts after today, which basically means I was able to sell 12 of them, 10 of them for 12 exalts. And it took me a while to sell them. I was just constantly posting, like when I had 4 to sell, then I had 5, then I had 6, 7, 8, 9, and no one was buying, and then eventually I had 10 and someone actually bought it. If I wasn't able to sell them, I would just go back to maybe like white yellow maps, or just continue doing some trading, selling some currency, and then I would be able to continue doing this after they sell. Or maybe I'll just reduce the price and go to trade like a normal website and sell them for like 1.1 exalt. So yeah, basically that's what I did for like, I believe I did it for like 2.5 hours, and I was able to farm the 12 exalts. And now, to be honest, I could just literally continue doing it. I made some calculations, and if I just bought maps for 12 exalts, and by the way, I was buying the maps, I was basically going to trade, I guess I can show you, and because I couldn't really buy maps on TFT, and I just typed some random tier 14 maps, and you can't just tick too many because you're gonna get an error, so you have to choose like few, at least like 5, and I just messaged the guy that was selling them for like 3C, and I messaged him like, does he have like a lot of tier 14 plus maps, and I just want to buy a lot of them. And I basically bought maps for 3 exalts, because that's how much I had the moment I killed Syrian Exarch and I started doing this strategy. So I bought enough maps for 3 exalts. For 2 exalts I was able to buy maps for 3C per, and then for 1 exalt I was able to buy maps for 2C per, because I actually found a person that was selling them for 2C. So I bought around 250 maps, and yeah, I basically ran this, and now I could just, for these 12 exalts, I could just buy another set of maps, and I did some math, and I would be able to farm around 40 invitations, which basically means I would get around 50 eggs, and then I would just do it again, and I would have 100 exalts, and the challenge would be done. So just basically grind from now on. But that's not what this challenge is about. I kind of want to do a few other strategies, at least 1, maybe 2 more. So yeah, I just don't want to do that. So what I'm gonna probably do is I'm gonna like take like 5 exalts, set it on the side, and this is actually like a nice thing to do, a nice thing to get used to doing when you're doing a league start. Like set aside some currency, and this currency you're gonna invest into some strategy. So for example, if you want to do like maybe Blight, so this you would invest in maps and in scarabs. Maybe if you want to do simulacrums, you'll just spend it on simulacrums, so you just don't have to like buy 1 simulacrum per, you can just buy like 10 of them or something. And for 7 exalts, I'm just gonna upgrade my gear. Depending on what type of strategy I'm gonna go for, I guess you're gonna see what I went for in the next video. I'm gonna get different upgrades, and yeah, I'm gonna spend 5 exalts on the next strategy, and we're gonna do something different. Maybe I'm gonna also progress some red maps depending on what strategy I'm gonna go for, and that's gonna be basically it. So I'm basically after the stage 2 right now. I would say this challenge has like 3 stages. First stage would basically be finishing the campaign and preparing your character to be able to do maps. Second stage is just preparing for a grind, so basically setting up your atlas, finishing the maps, getting a little bit of gear so you can actually like do the strategies properly. And third stage is basically just grind. So now basically any strategy that is between like 5 to 10x per hour is what I'm gonna aim for, and then I'm just gonna grind for like 10 to 15 hours, and I'm gonna be probably done with the test, which basically means if we look at the played, I'm probably gonna be done with this test after like 35 hours, I would probably guess. Obviously it took me a little bit more because of making a video and some other stuff. I guess the last thing, I'm gonna show you my second account where I have a few more items, so you can see how much stuff I actually have. So here is this account. So I did empty all of these stubs before I started this test. So this basically is my stash. Oh, and I actually did drop one synthesis map, which I have to sell. So here is some additional currency I still have. Here are all of the essences. So I still have 1 horror, 2 delirium, and quite a lot of other ones to sell. And they're not really that expensive. Most of them are like between 1 and 4C. Here are some additional maps. These maps don't count. These are like my own maps, not from the challenge. Here are some scarabs, which are not really that expensive. A few fossils, oils, 1 blighted map, and yeah, that's basically it. And here is a loot. And I actually, when I killed Searing Exarch, I dropped the Annihilating Light with perfect roll, 60%, which can sell for 45C. And I still have some cards and Astragali. So yeah, this is basically all the remaining loot that I have. And one last thing I want to say is that the biggest thing I did learn from this challenge so far is that when you're gonna league start, maybe like 1 month into a league up to like 2 months into a league, you're gonna have a good fun time. You're gonna sell and buy a lot of stuff, or you're gonna be able to buy a lot of like cheap stuff like level 20 spark and so on. And trading experience when you're gonna be selling stuff is gonna be nice. But right now we are like after 2nd month, so we are basically in 3rd month of the league, and league is at least trade is mostly dead. Being able to like buy stuff or sell stuff is actually very, very annoying. It took me quite a lot of time to do any trading, and very often like people, when I was for example trying to buy maps, people in my chat would tell me, oh, just tell me which maps you want, I'm gonna sell them to you. And I just said no, I'm gonna make it properly. I'm actually gonna also suffer and experience the trading through PoE trading experience and just buy everything from trade, which is annoying, but unfortunately that's part of the game. And especially in this 3rd month of the league, a lot of stuff is pretty hard to sell. But also you can get some benefits from that. For example, one nice thing about doing the essences is the fact that there is a challenge, which I can show it to you. It should be somewhere here. This challenge. Defeat an essence that has at least 2 of these essences. So Hysteria, Horror, Delirium, and Insanity, which are the corrupted essences. So basically to get 2 of them, you need to find an essence that has 2 of these essences, and you corrupt it and you get these. And if you get that, you can basically go to TFT and sell this challenge for 1x per person. So if you have 5 portals, you can sell it to 5 people for 5 exalts. And actually one time during this challenge I got 2 of these essences and I corrupted it, and unfortunately I didn't get the corrupted essence results, but that would be a nice 5 exalts profit. So yeah, that's something you can get benefit from playing later on in the league, because during like first 2 of the league no one is really buying challenges, so yeah, you're not really gonna make money from that. But now you could do something like that. So yeah, that's my last bit of advice. That's gonna be it for this video, and see you in the next one.